Chapter 245, I Despise You Two. Under Feng Chang'an's saber, he would either die or be injured. It was not a joke. However, it was not convenient for Ku Qingshan to communicate with Zhu Tu at this moment. He could only fulfill his duty. Soon, Ku Qingshan stood on the referee's seat. His mind power shook slightly on the main stage of Longhu Arena. Challenger Zhu Tui challenged the defender, Feng Chang'an. If there are no problems, please get ready. The battle will begin in 3 minutes. Zhu Tui had already put on his division armor. To be honest, the defensive ability of this combat uniform was actually average. It was only worn by ordinary soldiers in the extraterrestrial battlefield. In the future, when he had money and resources, he would still have to customize his own powerful combat uniform. Feng Chang'an, who was more than 1.9 meters tall and weighed more than 230 pounds, slowly walked onto the stage. Just the process of going on stage brought about a huge sense of oppression. Other people aside, the students who were facing Feng Chang'an from the side felt an inexplicable pressure and suffocation just by looking at Feng Chang'an walking over slowly. He's very powerful, Zhu Tui, right? Feng Chang'an went up the stage and stood in the standard combat position. He glanced at Zhu Tui. I am. Feng Chang'an still did not look at Zhu Tui. He only slowly pulled out his thick-handled knife. Under the sunlight, the thick-handled knife did not reflect any light. It seemed to be able to devour light, too. It is an evil weapon. This thing was definitely an evil weapon which had killed before. The Longhu overall rankings is not like the first-year Longhu list. I will use my full strength the moment I attack. Even I can't stop my saber from slashing out. As for whether Professor Ku can save you, that will depend on your luck. Feng Chang'an glanced at Ku Qingshan. I don't care if you came to challenge the Longhu overall rankings for any other reason. I only have one last piece of advice for you. It's not too late for you to step down now. Once the battle starts, life and death will be decided. At this moment, Feng Chang'an pointed his saber at Zhu Tui. There was killing intent and sincerity in his eyes. He was really advising Zhu Tui. Thank you. Inconfident. Zhu Tui's words made Feng Chang'an laugh. All right, based on your words, this batch of juniors aren't cowards. Feng Chang'an retracted his smile and lowered the tip of his saber slightly. A murderous aura immediately appeared. If there are no problems, then prepare for battle. Senior Feng, please wait a moment. I have something to say, Zhu Tui suddenly said. Feng Chang'an frowned. Words are useless against me. If you have radiation-related abilities, you will also. Senior Feng, it's not for you. Feng Chang'an was stunned. Zhu Tui suddenly turned around and shouted in the direction of Wen Xiao and the 23 seated students beside him. Perhaps it was to analyze Zhu Tui. Wen Xiao and his 23 seated candidates had also gathered near the main stage of the Longhu Arena. Mr. Wen Xiao, I have something to say to you before the battle, Zhu Tui shouted. With this shout, the gazes of the 10,000 to 20,000 students gathered around the main stage of the Longhu Arena. And the stands turned to Wen Xiao and the seated candidates beside him. Mr. Wen, to be honest, you're right. I just want to break the legs of all the seated students of the supernatural branch around you. However, you are too wise. You decisively adjusted your strategy and played a delaying tactic. You let those first-year supernatural-type seeded players pretend to be cowards. Uriasome, I'm impressed. Zhu Tui revealed the truth, causing Wen Xiao's expression to instantly become extremely interesting. Then, it instantly became extremely ugly. However, the 23 seeded players surrounding Wen Xiao instantly blushed. They were all 18 or 19-year-old brave youths. They were scolded by Zhu Tui in front of 20,000 people. If it were not for the fact that they still had some sense left in them and that Wen Xiao was stopping them, someone would have jumped out to show how brave he was when Zhu Tui broke his leg. The surrounding students all looked at Zhu Tui with curious gazes. They wanted to see what Zhu Tui would drop. Mr. Wen Xiao, I'm bored. Zhu Tui suddenly raised his head, pounded his chest, and roared, I'm lonely. No one in the entire freshman batch of the supernatural branch was a match for me. But I don't blame you. However, there were so many elites in the first-year supernatural branch. But they did not even have the courage to fight me. Coward! You guys are too cowardly. I despise you all. Therefore, I'm here to challenge the Longhu overall rankings. I, Zhu Tui, am a freshman in the School of Enlightened Mind from the Mystery Branch. I am here to challenge the Longhu overall rankings. You can rest assured now. As soon as he finished speaking, Wen Xiao's face turned red. He had been humiliated in public by a student like Zhu Tui. It was a humiliation within the reasonable rules. That was because Zhu Tui was telling the truth. He was telling the truth, but there was not a single curse word in the entire story. This was the humiliation and challenge of standing on the high ground. Wen Xiao could not respond. However, Wen Xiao's students could not take it anymore. Mr. Wen, I'll challenge Zhu Tui now. It's just breaking my legs. Shen Ziyu was the first to jump out. I'll go too. Mr. Wen, I'm going too. The red-faced Che Zan also jumped out. More than 10 students were about to leave Wen Xiao and run to the teacher on duty in the small arena to challenge Zhu Tui. Wen Xiao smiled bitterly, but in the next moment, he let out a thunderous roar. All of you, come back. If anyone dares to leave, I'll give them an evaluation of anxiety and rashness. The teacher's evaluation would be considered unqualified. All the students were stunned. This was definitely a great killing weapon. The evaluation of an individual comprehensive assessment would be written into a file for life. If he really said that, their future would probably be ruined. As for the teacher's evaluation, it went without saying. In an instant, Wen Xiao stunned the students who had been provoked by Zhu Tui. All of you, come back. Observe and analyze the battle between Zhu Tui and Feng Chang'an. This is an extremely precious learning opportunity for all of you. Wen Xiao suddenly said gently. As for this bit of provocation and ridicule, I can even take it as a professor. What can you not take? All of you, come back and watch the competition. Wen Xiao's words were already very direct. He did not want to be provoked by Zhu Tui. He had to calm down. Not if the seated candidates of the supernatural branch were stupid. At this moment, Wen Xiao was standing in front of them. Although their faces were red from Zhu Tui's provocation, they still came back. They obediently gathered around Wen Xiao, took out a small notebook, and quietly prepared to watch the competition and analyze the records. Countless students around the arena were already in an uproar. Kui Shi, Zhang Changtai, and the others were also dumbfounded. Zhu Tui had directly started a fight. Not only did he scold the freshman students of the supernatural branch for being weak, but he also scolded them as cowards. He despised the freshmen from the supernatural branch. While they were dumbfounded, they gave Zhu Tui a thumbs up. Chai Zhao was also stunned on the spot. After a while, he gave Zhu Tui a thumbs up. FCAC, my brother is so cool. I give him full marks. Of course, a large number of students were also scolding Zhu Tui for being arrogant. They scolded Zhu Tui for not respecting his teacher. Zhu Tui did not care about that. This was only the first part of his plan to lure the enemy out. He had to attract the first wave of hatred first. If he wanted to obtain all kinds of scarce resources and benefits, how could he not take a gamble? Zhu Tui walked straight to the standard combat position in the arena amidst the curses of many students. Professor Ku, I'm ready.